I've been asked to make a quick announcement that after the next paper, there'll be a demonstration by EUAC of a cleaning robot, which I think will take place here somewhere, although I can't see anything, so I'm assuming it's going to be taking place in here. So finally, I'd like to welcome two more speakers to the floor, please. I'm going to welcome Miguel Candelas Pérez and Maria Llorento Ruiz. I'm sorry if I got that wrong. Miguel has a degree in biology and graduated in 2006. Has been working in the oceanographic as an aquarist in the Mediterranean area and was promoted to senior aquarist in 2008. Maria, again, has a degree in biology and graduated in 2007. Again, working in the Mediterranean area and is a senior aquarist as of 2008 also. So your presentation today is going to be on how and why keeping Mediterranean invertebrates at oceanographic. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks, Rob. So, good morning. We are going to present that paper on why keeping Mediterranean invertebrates at oceanographic. The oceanographic is one of the longest and most modern aquariums in the Mediterranean coast and boasts a tower entirely dedicated to Mediterranean ecosystems. But we have very little representation of Mediterranean invertebrates. These invertebrates were, at the beginning, mostly plastic decoration, still there are now. The main reasons for absence of live invertebrates were, among other reasons, the priority of other species for the opening of the aquarium, mainly fish and mammals, and the difficulties of supply and maintenance of living invertebrates from the Mediterranean. In 2008, a great effort was made to fill this gap. So you may ask, why invertebrates of Mediterranean? Because these animals are less known by visitors and they abound in our sea. They were a challenge for us since they are very delicate animals, difficult to obtain and maintain, whose husbandry techniques are less known even and especially because we can't devote the time they need. We are going to explain you the 3 tanks where we have this kind of invertebrates. So the first tank is the coralline tank. Is this one? Is one of the biggest in Mediterranean area with a harbor tank as well. This tank has about 500,000 liters and 2.5 meters depth. It represents coralline area of the sea. In winter, we have the weather at 16 degrees Celsius, but it increases in summer 2 degrees. We try to keep the weather parameters as you saw here, there, but not always succeed as that. Being a large volume tank, it has a few fluctuations in water parameters to maintain a stable pH. But when this is not the case, we add this mixture of sodium salt to increase it. We feed our animals with a mixture of live zooplankton and phytoplankton, as you can see here. As well, we use a directed current flow to feed them. So we try to direct the most amount of food towards them, since the food is going to lose into the filters. You can see here, that the tubes of PVC that we use to direct the flow through the animals that we cannot see, but they are there. Okay. We use live muscle broth because it helps to stimulate the opening of the gorgonian polyps. First we give the muscle broth, and 5 minutes later we give the naupli. We believe so they receive better the food, and so far we have them enough healthy. We have the species that we have in these tanks, as you can see in the picture, are Paramodicea clavata and Onicella cavolini. And we are trying, in the next weeks, we are going to try to fix Onicella singularis. Okay. The first, when animals arrive, we had a problem. We don't know if it was either if it transport or in the acclimatization, but the gorgonias, especially Paramodicea clavata, began to lose some of their polyps and display its skeleton in some branches. We had to prune these branches so as not to advance to the rest of the animal. And thanks to that, the gorgonians have regenerated their polyps and new skin is growing, so we have not had to trim them again. We are very happy for that. So. They are living in the tank with other species, as Anthias, Helicolenus dactylopterus, and Raya montagi, between other animals. Okay. As well, we have another tank, Cephalopods tank, that is this one, very nice. You can see in our exhibits. And this tank shares the life super systems, the filter, with Mesolittoral. We have 2 tanks, Mesolittoral and Cephalopods tank. Okay, but these kind of animals are in Cephalopods tank. Because of that, I'm going to explain more this tank. You can see here the parameter of the water are more or less the same as coralline tank, but here you cannot more. You can notice more the difference between the parameters. So because of that, we are trying to take it better. We take a sample every day of this water to keep it properly. We have 2 kinds of lights. You can see white light and actinican light. This is the Mesolittoral tank. And the other one is Cephalopods tank. We have changed now the sun, and it looks like much nicer. When this tank needs some seawater supplements, we add the same additives that before I said to you, but as well we add yoduro potassium, okay, to increase the yodine in the tank. Okay, in this tank you can see here one of our animals, and we feed them through a tube directed as much closer we can put it of them, being sure that the whole animal is covered by food. For example, here you can see Beretylon cinnamorium, and you can see the polyps that seems very big, and you can think that the food that they need is big, but it isn't. So it is the same zooplankton that the gorgonias are eating. So they eat a mix of live newly hatched naupli and 24 hours naupli, and as well we give them some rotifer. That's the tank. As well, we give to the tank locellary baths on fish and shellfish with spirulina and calfastanic, and we give in Mesolittoral tank, especially for the sponges, are Aplycina aerophoba, Xinella polypoides, and for this tank, Cephalopods tank, for the Petrosia fissiformis. You can see there the slurry. For the other tank, for the coralline tank, what's much more important, the current flow that was directed through the animals. Here is not so important for the feeding, because we feed the animals, as I said to you before, through a tube, but it's very important as well, the current. The species that we have, Ertilium cinnamomorium, this one, and Pteridus spinosum, that one, but they as well share the tank with another animals, as Sepia officinalis, cuttlefish, Bonellia viridis, and Discodorisha tramaculata. So, and now Miguel is going to introduce us the Mediterranean vertebrates tank.
Thank you, Maria. So, hello, everybody. I'm going to talk about our new exhibit, the Mediterranean tank of invertebrates. It was started up last year in November, and it is placed in the Mediterranean Tower in the oceanographic. It is an aquarium of 450 liters in volume, displaying several species of invertebrates from the Mediterranean. It works in a closed system, and the life support system is composed of these elements: refrigerating system with electronic controller, sump containing mechanical filtration with Perlon, protein schema, wet-dry biological filter, and a do-it-yourself fluidized bed with all lytic aragonite. And an activated carbon filter was modified to make a do-it-yourself fluidized bed. Water parameters. These are the values met in our aquarium. Values of nitrates and phosphates are very high for invertebrates. And in order to drop them, we make a 4% water exchange 3 times a week. Chemicals. We use these additives to deliver several elements to the aquarium. I mean calcium, magnesium, strontium, and iodine. Container 1 raises calcium. Container 2 raises pH and alkalinity. Both are dosed twice a week. Container 3 raises magnesium, strontium, and iodine, and it is dosed twice a month. As iodine in container 3 is depleted more quickly than other elements, Revitalized by CChem is added 3 times a week. Water motion. In the aquarium, water flow is accomplished by 3 different ways. So we use 3 pumps, ocean runner pump, EHEM water pump, and EHEM power head. For example, the outlet of ocean runner is placed here, and that directs the return flow from the sump into the tank. The flow is focused on the lateral wall of the tank and banks off the glass to create a natural mass of water turbulence on the right side of the aquarium. So the EHEM water pump, the outlet is placed here, and it creates a laminar flow passing through the cave and banks off banks off the front wall of the tank, producing a chaotic turbulence as well. And the EHEM power head, it is hidden here behind the rocks, and it creates a laminar flow passing through a colony of Corinactis viridis. This submersible pump works exclusively for creating water motion for this species, as it requires a high flow in order to thrive. Flow velocities range 10 and 20 centimeters per second. Lighting. Aquarium is lighted mainly with a blue illumination to mimic deep waters and styophilic environments. On the right corner of the tank, it is placed over there. A LED lamp mimics shallower waters and displays the realism of point source illumination, which also provides glitter lines, creating very natural looking patterns of rippling lines of shadow and brightness through the tank. Aquascape. Aquarium aquascaping is a rock work formed by means of cured lip rock and mild substrate at the bottom of the tank. Species. Phylum Nigaria is the most represented species in the tank, and you can see the photograph of a colony of Epiphantus arenaceus. So I would like, in this scenario, Mediterranean invertebrates are arranged attending to their lighting requirements, from well-lit to shaded environments. Almost 30 different species of Mediterranean invertebrates belonging to 7 phyla are kept in the same aquarium. And I would like to talk about keeping Parazoanthus accinellae. It is here. And this species is one of the most, if not the most toxic cnidarian in the Mediterranean. So special care might be taken when keeping this species. It might be handled with care and placed in an isolated zone in the aquarium. I mean, we might not place any species downstream from this colony. A stressful situation trigger high bioactivity patterns. Handling of the colony and starvation may explain this behavior. Field studies show that Parazoanthus accinellae is more toxic in the inner zones of the caves than at external ones. If we consider that the inner zones of cave are comparable to deep habitats, this toxicity pattern is in accordance with a study with Gorgonian species. This study reported a significantly higher concentration of secondary metabolites in Gorgonian specimens transplanted to deep habitats than in those that remained in the shallow habitats. Maybe food availability causes this behavior. Starvation may lead to a high bioactivity in such a species. Also, Phylum Annelida with Spirographis spalanzani, Phylum Chordata with Allocynthia papillosa, Phylum Mollusca with a photograph of Spondylus gheteropus, Phylum Echinodermata with a photograph of our crinoid, Phylum Arthropoda with Lismata seticaudata in the photograph. So I would like to highlight the great job of Lismata seticaudata as it preys upon Aiptasia. Lismata has totally eradicated this infesting anemone from the tank. Feeding. Owing to this high biodiversity, several types of food must be offered. A wide variety of food sources and sizes are fed, ranging from dissolved organic matter, DOM, to frozen Mrs. shrimp. Here you can see all the food offered. We feed animals twice a day daily. Before the first feeding session in the morning, life support system is turned off in order to avoid the overflow to withdraw the food, although water motion into the tank remains working. After this, substrate is turned over by using a pole to resuspend all waste of organic matter, I mean detritic DOM and POM. This food source in the aquarium mimics marine snow in the wild, and it's very useful for two main reasons. It's a nutritionally rich food source due to its attached algae, bacteria, and cyanobacteria. This food source can be used to trigger polyp expansion, avoiding the delivery of extra organic matter into the system. For instance, avoiding delivery of muscle broth, leading to an increase of nitrates and phosphates. The next step in the feeding session itself, trying to feed all the polyps by using a syringe. After half an hour, life support system can be turned again. Key steps. In our experience, keeping Mediterranean invertebrates in a successful way is based upon two key steps. The first one is food. We offer a broad range of food sizes and sources, so requirements of all species are satisfied. I would like to underline the use of the detritic DOM and POM by turning over the substrate. I would like to underline the use of the detritic DOM to turn over the substrate. For example, Corellius rubens diet is based to a large extent upon detrital particulate organic matter, POM. Field studies show that almost 50% of its diet is composed by this source. The suspension of detritic sediment deposits in its natural environment may explain the constant availability of POM to red coral. Also, the second one is water motion. We need the polyps to open for a successful feeding. Activity rhythms in passive suspension feeders, as corals, are affected by the speed of the current. In the Mediterranean Sea, it has been observed that when flow speed is high, 20 to 30 centimeters per second, polyp expansion is at maximum. 100% of the colonies have open polyps, although too high a speed is negative, since food can be captured properly by polyps. So thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, both of you. Has anybody got just one or two very quick questions? Okay. Doesn't look like so. Thank you very much indeed, both of you. Great presentation.
Thank you.